Hey, and welcome to today's 3x3 for public speaking for introverts. We'll go ahead and jump through this. We're going to share with you 3 tips in 3 minutes. Rahul, you are up first. First tip, go for it.
Awesome. So the first tip for every introvert is to know that it's possible to be a great public speaker as an introvert. Now, this is a tip because we get so many clients who their first resistance is that, oh, I don't think it's possible. I don't know anyone that is like that. And that's just not true. I'm an introvert. You're an introvert. Peter's an introvert. He's the founder of a public speaking company. And you gotta, you out there, you gotta do your research and figure out who you know that is actually an introvert. And that's a great leader. That's a great speaker. There's so many people, actors, politicians. I believe Obama, former president, he is an introvert. So many people are introverts, so it is possible. It's a matter of having the right tools and mindsets, which we're going to give you tips on right now.
That's right. Thanks, Rahul. That was great. And Peter, I'll bring you back in here. What is tip number 2? Go for it.
Tip number 2 is expanding your identity so you're not locked to being an introvert. Some people say they're introverts and they limit themselves, and some people say they are extroverts and they also limit themselves. Now, what you want to do is believe that being an introvert and extrovert is a spectrum, and you can be either or depending on the situation. For example, I am naturally an introvert when I'm by myself, when I'm thinking, when I'm reading. I'm an introvert, which means I feed my energy. I feed on my own thinking to get energy. However, when I am in front of other people, I switch a little bit more towards being an extrovert, where I start feeding from other people. And that's what you need when you're being in front of groups. You don't want to be standing up there, living in your own universe and collapsed. You want to be out there getting the points and cues from them so you can give them something that's valuable.
Absolutely. I love that tip, Peter. We'll go ahead on to the third and final tip here. 30 seconds each, gentlemen. Rahul, go ahead and kick us off.
Sure. So the third tip is you've got to build your stamina with what Peter was just talking about with where you get your energy. So I know for myself, when I first started as a trainer, I teach a one-day boot camp. At the end of the day, I am drained. My ability to get energy from a group is just completely gone. These days, I can do multiple trainings in a row. By the end of the day, I'm not nearly as exhausted. In fact, sometimes I feel too energized and too wired because I've gotten so much energy from the group. So that's one thing you want to start building that muscle.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I would add onto that. When I first started speaking, it would be like 6 minutes at Toastmasters, and I'll be so exhausted afterwards. And then I built that up to 30 minutes, and then to an hour. And then I started giving keynotes because I knew I couldn't do more than an hour. And then once I built that, I started doing half days, and then after half days, 1 full days. And at the peak of my career, my stamina was 3 consecutive days. Now, if I do more than 3 days, I'll be exhausted, and that's totally fine. However, I don't need more than 3 days. You don't need more than 3 days.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you for sharing those tips, Rahul, Peter. And for you listening, I appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next time.